Guys, I don't know, man. It has been a while. I think maybe we should start a Lord of the Rings podcast. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean it's probably time. You know,
I think it's about time.
we've been talking about it, and
Gotta get the name right, though.
we do. We really do.
We've had some time off to think. You got any ideas?
How about Satisfy the Innards podcast?
Ooh. It's good to have those innards satisfied, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of plan on that. A tight belt and a light tooth podcast.
I like that.
Yeah.
A tight belt and a light
Light tooth.
tooth. I was like,
Loose tooth.
What
That
does
would
it
be
even
worse.
mean?
That'd be worse.
I don't even remember that from. That's.
I made it up on the spot.
Oh, okay, good. All right.
We're daydreaming, aren't we?
Well, that fits right into.
Don't break the illusion.
I have one, if that's okay.
Sure, yeah, let's hear it.
The Clumsy Words podcast, right?
Isn't that what this is actually called?
Since I can't talk, yeah.
How about Turn Gully podcast? Little play on Fern Gully.
Yeah, I like
Remember that one?
I do. I actually do.
We just
Yeah.
kind of get, the gully that turns to the dead marshes. We get
Yeah.
stuck there and we find some fairies and who knows what happens.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You never
I like
know.
it.
Getting close.
We're getting there.
One of these days. Stay tuned. I could fade the music out, couldn't I?
No, I just let it play.
That's the intro.
That's the intro. This episode of An Unexpected Podcast is brought to you by Jason Ross. Thank you. Hello, friends, and welcome to An Unexpected Podcast. I'm Ez,
And I'm Lane.
and we're talking Tolkien.
We're coming to you from the Shire of America, the beautiful state of Ohio, in a little village called Amanda, the light of my life. Yeah.
Sing it,
A little
son.
Chris Stapleton there.
Sing
Sort
it.
of. Sort of. It's me pretending to be Chris Stapleton, which is not the same thing.
Sounded just like it.
Really?
Yeah. So, this week we're having to rethink our path forward as we discover that the Black Gate is closed as a part of our journey through Middle-earth.
We do a lot of sitting down in this chapter, don't we? Just some deep contemplation, man.
Well, yeah, it actually. Yeah, I was thinking about this on the way down. Is it? We always say it's fitting, for like, do we make things fit into
That's
like,
that's a great question.
because we always say like,
Do we imitate art or is art imitating us?
or do we just find a way to make the connection? I don't know.
Yeah, are we
what's
reaching?
happening.
Are we reaching?
Yeah.
Guys, what do you think? Are we reaching?
Or was Ez really sitting down in front of a gate these past 2 weeks, wondering if there was another way to get inside,
And that's the perfect segue into our next segment, which I don't know if you guys have heard of. It's we call it Quick Counsel.
Yeah.
It's where we come on here and we talk about our lives.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. You guys know. So where has your your black? What has been your black gate over the past couple weeks?
Yeah, my Black Gate. What's been standing in my way? Myself.
No, I don't. That's where have you?
No,
been?
I like it. That's what I'm.
Okay.
I just went deep with that. Okay. So what's been standing in my way?
And the weather, I think.
Lane, let me tell you
Probably.
something. No. You know what? It's me. Okay. Ez has been standing in his own way and everybody else's way, and it's time for Ez to get out of the way or get in the way, and I'm in.
Get
All
in there, boy.
I have no idea what I
Get
just
in there.
said. But anyways, no, the weather has been absolutely insane.
Oh my gosh, dude!
And
we survived Winter Storm Emma Watson or whatever it's called. What was the name
I don't
of the
know
one?
I don't know what it was actually called.
Guys, we have a lot to catch up on. Okay, we were actually the intro for this document for the show. We were going to be in Texas. We were going to be down at the Rohirrim Gathering, and Winter Storm Helen Mirren cut us off, and we weren't able to go. And of course, I was talking to Chase McKinney, our lovely king of Rohan down there, who threw that all together and organized everything.
Wonderful man.
Yes. And I said, dude, this was the day that we were supposed to leave, right?
Yeah.
We were going to leave after work.
Bags were packed, man. I had everything, equipment and everything packed.
My entire trunk was ready to throw into your car as you picked me up after work and just drive through the night.
Yeah.
And we said to him, I was like, dude, we've been talking. This winter storm, Hannah storm looks pretty bad. Yeah. And we think we might have to cancel. I said, it's really unfortunate. We both feel terrible, but that's probably what we should have to do. And I said, watch, Chase. There will be no weather.
Yeah.
And we got like maybe an inch or two. But we played it safe. We were wise.
Yeah.
and that's what happens, you know. And they had a great time.
Sure.
But as I got to tell you, man, I couldn't watch it. The videos, I couldn't watch it because I wanted us to. We had planned that trip for months.
Well, like
Months.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, Lane at one point sent me a headline from some paper that literally just said "travel nightmares across the country," and I was like, wow. And guys, my tires are bald as all get out right now, and I just got my car back out of the shop. Like, legitimately, did I not? That week, I got my car out of the shop. I was driving a rental for about 3 days there.
Your car is the Black Millennium Falcon.
I have no idea. I have no idea how it's still running. Been recalled about 15 times.
Your headlights were going out.
Yeah, we didn't have any headlights, so I went in just to fix the headlights so we could go on this trip. And I get in there like, dude, your serpentine belt is just torn all to shreds. Like, I'm like, what? There's like this. There's this oil leak or whatever.
We're going down there. We're in your car, and you go, "Let me risk a little more light."
Yeah. Oh man, it was bad. Well, remember we came back from the unexpected game night, and it was the scariest. I felt so bad because I was like, "Oh crap, my high beams don't work."
Well,
and Sarah is sitting in the front seat, and I'm just like, "Goldberry, I am sorry. Why are you going so slow, Les? Because I can't see."
Well, the first thing you did too, we thought it was a party trick. You're like, "Hey guys, check this out."
Right.
And you turn on the brights,
on the high beams,
and the lights went off.
It went off.
And we were like, "Whoa, it's dark."
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then I was like, "No, that was my high beams." Like,
those are my brights.
Sorry, I don't have anything. And so then I was holding it, trying to make it work, and they completely went out and burned out. So, anyways, it was just nuts. But I will say, I think my secretary. So I went in and
this is a big
they played mom. They were like, and actually, if you looked, I mean, where that storm came through, we would have been driving right through. So it was actually worse in other parts of the country. And by the time it got to us, it really had tapered off a little bit. But we would have driven right through the heart of it. And
the other thing we said too is we might be able to get there.
Yeah.
We might not be able to get back.
Yes, in time. And that was sort of the thing
for work or even I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure eventually we would have, but
but we weren't sure. And also I knew that the 2 weekends before that I was with a friend of mine, Grace. And I'm giving her a ride home, actually.
Oh, gosh, dude, this is ridiculous.
And I'm going up this hill.
This doesn't even sound real. I know it really happened.
It really happened.
But it just sounds like...
I'm literally just in Westerville, Ohio.
It sounds like a Jim Nichols story.
Well, I see this other car. It's a bad winter. It hit all at once, 3-4 inches. And this guy is like, there's this huge hill that we're going up, whatever. I was like, boy, he better hit that with some speed because if his car is like mine and it looked about the same, I was like, we're going to both have trouble getting up that. And oh my gosh, he slows down going into like the bottom. Like it's like he's slowed down to approach it. I was like, you're never going to get out of that. And he didn't. He got like halfway up the hill.
Did you push him, you said?
And then, he actually, his car rolled back on. And so he put his brakes on. He starts to slide back and Grace is sitting there. She's like, oh my gosh, what's happening right now? I was like, he didn't have enough momentum. He has back wheel drive. Like his car is literally going to slide into ours. Just hold on, it's fine. And he literally just keeps slowly rolling back. And I like lay on the horn. He slams the brakes. Doesn't help. It just gently slides into my car. And my license plate has the dent, sort of the indent to kind of show where he was at. And I just held his car there until someone came and removed it.
Wow, that is.
It was crazy.
You spoke words of command on his car. Huh?
Oh,
Lord.
It was crazy. So that's been the weather. And then last week I was under the weather.
Yeah, you were sick. And then, but even in between, we've survived the cold. It's been colder in parts of the Midwest than it has been in parts of Antarctica. I mean, it's been nuts. Yeah, and you were sick last week, so. I mean, we took, and you know what? Every once in a while, you got to take time to retreat into your wilderness. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
It was actually good for us.
Yeah. You took time to work on your other projects and to rest and recover. You know.
Yep.
I took some time to.
Oh yeah.
Do some art and stuff,
yes.
And so that was a nice. It was a nice break, you know.
What I mean? Artwork is beautiful, by the way, guys. You need to check it out.
Oh yeah, I'm just messing around. So, but it's fun. That's one of my wildernesses, you know. Mm-hmm. Like as a ranger retreats into the wilderness to recharge. One of those is like going camping and hiking and stuff like that. But my first one is art. I love to just go get lost and try new things, and so it was fun. It was fun. But I'm glad we're back. I'm glad we're doing this again. I have missed this a lot. We've missed you guys. Yeah. Even though. Jeezy, Lord, man. I'll tell you one thing about uppers. They don't slow down, bro.
No.
Uppers have the stamina of Gandalf in his ripest of age.
Yes, they do.
Just running around like a little white wizard with tasks to do. And the stuff on the Facebook group and Instagram and everything. You guys kill it. You kill it.
Right.
Some of you are done with Return of the King already.
I know.
Man, oh man.
I know.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's been wonderful, and welcome to all of our new listeners, because we know that we have had a big kind of influx. Flux.
Yeah. Reflux.
Flux capacitor. I don't know.
Fluxing.
Of people come into the group, and so welcome. We have a really positive Facebook group there with a lot of good people who are willing to welcome you and just talk your leg off. I was talking to Jen Shepard just this past week and about friendships that have been made, in the group, and I look at like Susie, and Erica,
the Shire rats.
the Shire. It's just I don't know, man. It's I love it. Super awesome
crazy.
to witness that.
And we only know a fraction of that too, don't we?
Yeah.
And think about all the Rohirrim down there that gathered in Texas. They're all like best mates now.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about. I don't know. Like we talk about, that's the best part is, we sit here and we talk about the book. It's a book club, but at the end of the day, like we have groups of people that are connecting, and it's a real fellowship. That's pretty wild, man.
Pretty wild. Well,
Pretty
hey,
cool.
Something else. We were talking today. We're looking ahead, and it's like we actually looked ahead probably 5-10 years in our lives. When we
did
said
some time travel.
Got
in the DeLorean.
It's pretty cool to kind of think about where things may go and just live and enjoy life. We always live in the moment, but it's good to look forward and to look back and kind of think about where you're at, where you're going. The party that may be coming up here in September. Like, I'm excited to see like new people who want to come to.
Yeah.
I've had several people reach out to me and say they're planning on attending that.
That's crazy.
And
man.
you're going to be surprised as to who they are and where they're coming from. I'm shocked, actually. So
I can't wait. We were talking about that because it was the cool thing is for the people who were there last year, it'll feel like a reunion.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is we've hung out with a lot of those people multiple times since. It's just been amazing, the friendships that were made through the long expected party. And then next year, for those people to return, hopefully they all can.
Yeah, sure.
And then for new people to come along too. And guys, eventually this is going to be our deal. This is going to be our thing where we're going to have to rent out a party field for real.
Yes, we will.
And people see little hobbits rolling in barrels of beer and the cakes and the foods and precious.
It's
going to be great.
That's what we want it to be.
Yeah.
We really do. We want it to be that way. So
hopefully
it'll keep growing each and every year. So that leads us though into some updates.
Yes, we do have some updates.
For just sort of like general podcasting updates here.
Yeah. So the Kickstarter is doing very, very well. I don't know the percentage that you guys have tripled it by, but it's like we've funded 300% or something like that. Ridiculous. Our goal was $800. We thought that was manageable, but also in our minds lofty. You guys have given north of $2,000 that we have pledged by you. So that's amazing. That covers about half of our expenses for the studio.
Yeah, for the folio.
Framing everything out and getting it so that we could, buy some furniture and put it in there and deck it out and look nice.
Yep.
Get the structure in place. So we still could benefit from more. So if you know people who are willing to fork out some money for a good cause, or if I don't know, you got a rich uncle. You got an Uncle Bilbo. He's got tunnels of jewels, gold, and all that, and wants to give to a good cause. This is definitely we're building this thing for you guys so that we can provide better quality when you come to the party. We can go out there and record. Everyone can experience it. If you if you want to come, if you're someone who donates and you want to come check it out, that's your right to come see it too. So, and then also for us to be able to get out of the dining room, even though I think once we're in there, we're going to miss it like crazy.
Oh, we'll come. We'll come back for anniversary.
Reunion episodes. But just, to have a place that we can dedicate to this, that's how much we care about this community and about this group and book club, is we want to have a permanent space for it. So anyway, our buddy came out, Kevin, and I think we talked about this last time, did an evaluation of what we needed to do, how much, and then he went and researched the costs, and he came up with a figure. I think it's around $4,600. Is that right, Ez?
Yes. So about 45.
Okay,
46.
So and he figured in like where we would put lights, new outlets. I mean, he's done contracting before and building and stuff. So he's been a great help. We've had some of you, Ben and Mike, who said, if you're throwing hammers in your building, let us know. We'll come out and help you. And we will. We will let you guys know. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, we do.
That'll be cool to know that it's forged by the hands of the fellowship as well.
Yep.
And I don't know. I mean, we were kind of talking about stretch goals, and you had some ideas, and I'm still blown. I mean, we're both kind of blown away. Like,
Well, what's interesting is actually the folks who thought of stretch goals were you guys, which I didn't even know that was necessarily a thing until somebody, mentioned, hey, time for stretch goals. And I'm like, what is that? Yeah. So essentially, if anyone thinks of an idea, for like if you up your pledge or somebody else comes in and wants to pledge a higher amount or whatever, and you think of different things, rewards that we can do, send us those. Because I'm not going to guarantee that we'll be able to do them, but like I would love to hear what people think and what you think would be a good return on that, and just want the feedback. So shoot me a personal message or hit up the Facebook or even the email andunexpectedpod@gmail.com. Let us know what you think might be an appropriate stretch goal, because we've got 3 that are pretty good on there, but I'm open to it. So because we definitely would, it'd be much easier if we could fully fund that, but we're great where we're at right now. We just wanted to throw that out there as an option for folks.
So and again, thank you for your generosity and your patronage and your support. We don't take it for granted, and we're incredibly humbled by it. So thank you guys. You guys are the reason that this community is so amazing. Another little plug we're going to do real quick is for another book club we started in the world of C.S. Lewis's writings. It's called Further Up, Looking for Lewis, and it's Ez, myself, and Sarah Goldberry, and we're going through the Chronicles of Narnia in chronological order from beginning to end. And it's an initial, like, we've read portions of it before and we know parts of the story, but we've never read the books all the way through. Yeah. So we are getting into it, and we're kind of experiencing it through the eyes of children. Yes. Like we feel like children in this world, discovering Aslan the lion. So
Ez has had several come to Aslan moments.
Oh my God, dude.
Which is great. Which has been great. I actually have. So it's sort of like, and I used to get that, a come to Aslan. Yeah, that was funny, right?
That's a very Lewis thing to do.
Okay, well,
I like it. I like it.
So I just thought, I'm excited to do it because it is something that's new, and it's different. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's really kind of laid back and it's fun. While we're on that note, though, Tom Crawford hit us up a while back and was talking about how he's a big.
He brought up Susan Pevensey, right?
Yeah, because we had talked back in October about Susan Pevensey, and so he's like listening to the Reread episode, and he goes that I hear that one of you had a crush on Susan Pevensey from the Narnia series. I chuckle because considering this is a Lord of the Rings podcast, you might know this, that Anna is it
Popplewell.
Popplewell?
Yep, still remember that name, man.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. So Lane was obviously the one who had the crush. Who played Susan, also played on a show called Reign, which is about Mary, Queen of Scots.
Wow.
Oh, that's right. I actually, crazy. I'm surprised. We should ask Goldberry about this. She maybe have seen this. But Anna's love interest in the show is a man played by Craig Parker, who played Haldir.
No way.
In the Lord of the Rings movies. Yeah, so
what a weird connection.
Yeah, cool little matchup there, and so I thought that was a neat little tidbit, a little crossover.
Yeah, I like that
between the two. So
I like that.
Narnia is gonna be a lot of fun. You guys should head over there to Further Up and check it out.
And it's on. We also have a Facebook group. It's called the Further Up group.
Yeah,
I think it's on Facebook. You can look for it, and we're on Podbean. We're on
Stitcher. We're on TuneIn Radio. We're on Google Play.
Yeah.
We're on Radio Public. Couple of different.
The Flannel
places.
Wizard did his magic. We're up everywhere.
Yeah, and actually, by the time you hear this, we should be on iTunes and have our issue.
We have
fixed there. Something, but we should be good. Now the other thing, I walked in today, and Winnie, all she's saying is up.
Up.
That is the only word I heard today. Like I've heard her say, I've heard her say, "Daddy," and "Mommy," and "Please," please, which is great. Yeah. But she's been. I mean, literally, she walked right over to me and she said, "Up." And I was like, is your daddy training? Like, this is fantastic.
I think maybe Chase McKinney got to her, and I don't know. Yeah. Because he loves that play on words, the up. It's all,
it's very uplifting.
Yeah. Oh, nice to see what you did there. Since we're catching up.
Okay, stop.
I do have, and this is kind of quick counsel and whatnot. I did have a weird, and you talked about Winnie, so I'm thinking about baby number 2 now. I wanted to tell you about this dream, bro.
Okay.
I had this weird dream last night. Very disconcerting. Bizarre.
All right.
Okay. So we've been having these feelings that it's going to be a boy.
Yeah.
Right. So if this baby is a boy, it'll be named Vigo.
Right.
We talked about that. The Woodson thing is out, guys. I had a moment with one of my favorite football players, and I apologize, but Vigo Joel will be the name.
Well, yep.
So anyway, in this dream, Sarah gave birth.
Okay.
She gave birth to 2 babies.
Wow.
that were not twins.
Wow.
And it turns out in this dream world,
Yeah.
Sarah had multiple uteri, in fact. So one of the babies was a girl,
Okay.
and then the other one was a boy. And I don't know what that means, man. I don't know if that means we're supposed to have more than just 2 children, because we're thinking 2, a boy and a girl, if that can happen, and then or 2 girls,
Sure.
And but it was very. I woke up.
So what
out of
does
it, bro.
that mean?
I don't know.
I
don't know.
What did she say? Did she say anything about it?
I mean, she just kind of looked at me like, "Yeah, it's weird.
Wow,
it's a weird dream." She's full on. She thinks it's going to be a boy. I mean, she just says, "I feel different. My stomach is sitting differently. It's, the heartbeat is all those old wives' tales you hear. Have led her to think, But we're not going to find out. So we'll figure out.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's
but
awesome.
Anyway, it was a bizarre dream. We had a cool message that was sent to us from Emil and Leo.
Yeah.
They are currently, well, you know what? Let me just go ahead and go to the tape and we can, the tape? Gosh, dude.
Yeah, that's the tape, isn't it?
Oh, I sound like a 30-year-old. We can play a message they sent our way, and we're just going to let them go ahead and.
Yeah.
Hi, Ez and Lane. We're Emil and Leo from Sweden. We're currently visiting New Zealand. We're sitting at
the Green Dragon.
The Green Dragon.
Drinking a pint of dark stout.
It's good.
And, we love the podcast.
Yeah, we do.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Wow.
So there
That's
they
so
are.
cool.
There
That's
they
so
are
cool.
in the bowels of the Green Dragon. They also took a little hike.
Okay.
So here they are again at a very special location.
It's me and Leo again.
Hi there.
We have walked up, well, not on Mount Doom, but we walked beside it. So it's right over there. You can see it through the clouds.
So
It
awesome.
was a hard walk.
Time. It was a steep descent.
Yes, it is a steep descent.
We almost died.
I almost died from hypothermia, but otherwise, it was a well-made climb.
Love the podcast.
Keep it up, guys.
Keep it up.
Wow.
So these guys
Wow.
are awesome. I woke up to this morning and
That's so cool.
I saw that a video was sent. I'm like, wow, we've never been really sent a video in our Facebook Messenger before.
yeah,
I was blown away. So I played these. I was tickled, dude. And the first thing I said to Sarah is the first thing I played these for Ez, and he took the words right out of my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
It's like these two are an alternate universe, younger, cooler version of us.
Yeah.
If we were young and cool
I know.
and from Sweden, we'd be these kids.
Would be these guys. Yeah, I know.
That was awesome.
It was wild. It was really cool. I would love that experience right there.
I know, man.
I want
Someday,
to,
man.
yeah. I want to send them a video from of us while we're there. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, like
that would be
we'll go
full
there
circle.
and we'll
Yep.
send them. Yeah,
We'll
full
do
circle it.
Let's put it on the calendar.
Okay.
So anyway, guys, if you're still out there, I don't know if this was current that they sent this, but have a good time, be safe, and send us more videos. That was awesome. So
Right.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, awesome. Let's move on here. Just a little bit more. A couple more updates.
You love Smeagol?
Yeah, I meant to have that somewhere. I do love Smeagol.
It's pretty awesome. isn't it?
So we're going to talk about that later on. I think that's it for the updates, actually.
Okay,
I don't know if there's
good.
anything else there. We'll talk more about some of that other stuher later. So, yeah, I think it's time for Dropping Eves.
That's perfect because we went a little long there, but dropping Eves is there's not a whole lot to drop. Other than stuff I've been dropping for the past few months.
Come on.
So the Amazon TV show, nothing really new there. They're still, well, you know what? We should have something coming up. We should have some sort of resolvement.
Yeah.
Not a word. Some resolution on a location for where they'll be filming these series.
Oh, yeah, because there was some debate, right?
There's the New Zealand is up in the air, and they had until the end of January to get that figured out. So I'm sure we'll be hearing very soon, probably like the day after this comes out. You guys will hear it, and you'll tell us. But will it be filmed in New Zealand? Will they return, or will they have to find somewhere else? So that also gives you a clue as to where they are in production. Mm-hmm. They're probably still writing, and they don't know if you don't know where you're filming yet, you're not filming yet. So I'm sure they're either halfway through or finishing up writing. I'm not really sure. And then they would, of course, be also looking at casting at this time and settling on locations. So that's all exciting. I'm sure their team is coming together kind of behind the scenes, and they'll release that as things are finalized. But I mean, just the fact that we have this to look forward to is very, very exciting.
Yeah.
The Tolkien biopic. So I think some of you guys thought I was joking.
Go ahead and say it.
When I made that prediction. Well, was it a prediction, or do I know someone involved in the film? I don't know. You guys, I'll let you guys decide. We'll leave that to the great mystery of time. Yeah. But a release date has been set, May 10th. Tolkien will be released. So pretty exciting. We several of you posted in the group, shared that as soon as it hit. There were 4 or 5 different stills from the film that were released as well, and they look beautiful. They're pretty much just fancier, higher resolution, cleaner images from the behind the scenes stuff we've seen. Really, we've seen those behind the scenes photos that were of Tollers and Edith, talking really in the street or sitting down, and he's in his uniform, she's in a dress, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's going to be amazing. I feel like this is one of those films that seemingly was in production for a long time that's going to blow people away. Mm-hmm. I think the timing is really good. So we're going to try and see if we can get people organized throughout the country, and I think it's already starting, and in the world, to go see this around the same time, and then have meetups afterwards where hey, we'll meet at this bar, we'll go see this showtime, and then we can talk about it.
Are you saying too that like if we can do our own local one, that if you can't make it somewhere else, we want someone to rally the troops? And meet there, and then send us some of your reactions, your thoughts, maybe.
Absolutely. And I think for each of those get-togethers, even if it's just 2 of you, if you posted a Facebook Live and we could all jump in, or you took a video like Emil and Leo and you sent it to us, and we could kind of compile that, because we're going to want to talk about this. We're going to want to discuss the performances and things that we learned about Tolkien's life that we might not have known, or things that we knew and either were pleased with how they portrayed or think it should have gone another way. So there'll be a lot of discussion around Tolkien. So it's coming out.
Awesome.
Other corners of Middle Earth, Billy Boyd is still out there floating around, probably making his way on to Jen Shepherd, and then Erica, and then out to Sherston. But he's in good hands. We'll be seeing pictures of him very soon.
Yep.
Last time we met, we had a couple of polls. We experienced both of these places in our last chapter. But if you had to be stuck in one, which one would you choose? The Dead Marshes or the outskirts of Mordor? This was kind of surprisingly one-sided, man. 118 of you voted at the time I wrote this down. 78% said, give me right outside Mordor. 22% said, I'll stay in the Dead Marshes.
That's crazy.
I almost think, what did you pick?
I think I actually just, I don't know that I voted on this one.
Yeah.
I know I voted on the next one, but I
don't remember what I always forget what I voted.
This one I know I kind of skipped because it's hard. I was sort of like, do I really want to be that close to, I'm surprised that many people, I thought it'd be 50-50.
I did too.
But it is definitely not.
I think maybe the trippiness of the Dead Marshes.
Yeah.
And maybe like okay, would you rather be mortally wounded outside of Mordor? And I'm assuming you don't have the ring either. This is just like it's you plopped into Middle Earth. Where are you going?
Yeah.
Or if you're going to be stuck, if you had to pick a place to be stuck in, I think you get lost in the Dead Marshes and you never return. Okay. Mordor, you get killed.
Yeah, it's over. Yeah.
It's over. You're not like,
or you join the other side. You know what I mean?
Hey, double agent.
Oh, it's right. You could pretend like you joined the other side, and then
did 2 hobbits do that in this book? Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Unknowingly, but still. And then we had a bonus poll. Do uppers want video episodes on YouTube to accompany our Reread podcast? We did videotape, film. Again, I'm 30 years old. Our anniversary episode, and apparently to get it on YouTube and Amanda, you have to put up a firewall or band together all of the width. That's a term.
Yeah.
Band together all the width of the internet, and it's just we haven't gotten it up yet because it's a big video, guys.
But Ez needs a list.
Dude, you have too much.
When
I tried, and remember, it was like 10 days later, it was at 3%.
I know. Well, all I have are these jetpacks right now.
Yeah.
And I think it would eat through one of them. I have 3 of them, and they're hot spots. And I'm pretty sure it would eat through an entire jetpack. And so
you lose all your fuel.
No, but I just I actually was planning on doing it I was trying to save up time, so now I have to wait until the 12th. because that's when they get reset.
You know, and here's the other thing too.
just thought of
Remember,
that.
we filmed the very first episode.
I know.
The longer we wait, the more mystery there is out. Like,
It's a lost footage.
The uppers will be going, did they really film it?
Did they actually do that?
Did
yeah,
they film
I
it?
know.
Like, did they forget the name game? I don't know.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
And then, but this was interesting. This was kind of cool. And we're talking about more like when we get the studio built, we could have places where the cameras
Stretch
could
goal.
be installed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we could film episode. I don't know. It's going to be a pretty cool thing to look at. The studio, not us.
Well, we thought it'd be cool when folks show up too.
Yeah.
When you show up, and
Right.
that's kind of like a special.
Right.
type thing.
Absolutely. So 46% of you said yes. Let's play the video. 54% said no. And a lot of people commented and said every once in a while.
Yeah.
So I don't want to see you guys talk for 2.5 hours every week,
Sure.
but maybe every month.
Yeah.
Or every 3.
Yeah.
You know? So, and that actually would be
Well,
easy on us.
and what'll be good is by the time we get this set up, Ez should be back to that 100 megabyte per second internet. So we'll be good.
Back in Minas Tirith,
Back in Minas Tirith where we get this.
where the internet is better.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Awesome, man. So that's all we have. We're into the reread.
we are.
Let's get transported, my
get
friend.
after
Are you ready to
it.
get back into Middle Earth?
I am.
Scared?
And I want to start with this. I had that I love Smeagol in the wrong spot, okay? Because I do love him, and I'm excited that this kind of came to me. Someone at one point was talking about how they loved Smeagol, and I was at like, what? How? You know, how could you love Smeagol? I just don't get it. You know? Wow, it's actually. I just realized how dark it was getting in here. Thank you, my friend. Lane is helping. He's bringing the light right now, which is great. But no, I was thinking he goes through a lot here. I mean, actually, the way he
Hey, he loves and hates the ring, as he loves and hates himself.
yeah, but
You know?
when you hear him talk about what he wants to do with it, and I actually started thinking, I'm like, did Smeagol do anything bad with the ring? I mean, I know that the
That's a great
backstory is
question.
that like he kills for it, right? And he has
the
to,
way he comes into it isn't great.
and it torments him, but does he go around and I mean he possesses it and it consumes him. Poor guy, you know, and he's striving with this higher
Great question.
power. I mean, with this, imagine the characters that, and I know people have talked about this before, but imagine Bilbo and Frodo keeping this ring for as long as he did.
Yeah.
Would they be the same? Would they not? Isn't that what we're supposed to kind of that conclusion we kind of draw that like that's where Frodo and Gandalf have sort of seen, you know, I don't know, like the benefit or I don't know, like why Bilbo took pity on him is because of that, right? I mean,
Sure.
that's an important piece to
He
all
could
this.
see a possible future for himself, or a future version of himself
Yeah.
in Smeagol Gollum. Yeah.
I don't know. I just really,
No, that's a great point, dude.
really started to think about it because at one point in this,
Well, and remember
chapter,
those flashes. Sorry, but those flashes of Gollum-like behavior in Rivendell,
yes,
right?
Mm-hmm.
That
we
one, and even just the way, I mean, and it's in a very Bilbo way that he tries to kind of get the ring back. I'll take it to Mordor. Don't worry.
right.
You know, that is a like a watered down version or an earlier stage version of what Smeagol's trying to do in this chapter.
That's exactly right.
Don't take it to him. Don't take it to the master,
That's
precious. You know, or to him. Don't take it to him.
Right.
Yeah.
And he says, you know, when he says to give it to me, I know we're jumping way ahead here, but I thought it was the core of this chapter. He wants to just give it to him. He'll take it, and he won't do any bad with it.
Right.
He didn't before.
Right.
It was him. It was his. It belonged to him before.
It's true. It's true.
I didn't do any bad back then. That's what made me think.
Just
like,
kills fish.
You know what? He literally just hung out and told himself riddles all the time. You know.
It's true. And there,
Like, I mean,
and there,
leave the poor guy alone.
There's the thing, like, yeah. How do you? So him losing himself, his soul in a way.
Yeah.
Is that a lesser evil than if it were in the hands of someone else? You know, it's that question of like one life versus many lives. Like, because to Smeagol or to people who knew Smeagol, that would be, I don't know. It could be as if you loved Smeagol, if you were his mom or his brother or something, that would be as tragic as, you know, an entire country falling over there that we don't, you know, big folk, we don't really necessarily care. I don't know. That's a great question, dude. Getting deep and philosophical, bro.
I don't know. The
like
more I thought about Smeagol this chapter, I'm really starting to be like convinced that he's torn. And I've noticed numerous times in this chapter they reference the light that kind of comes and goes in his eyes. Again, that green and pale light, and it's so crazy cool. It's something I never really paid much attention to. So, Anyways, here we want to. Where are we? We are outside the Black Gate.
Outside the Black Gate. Do you want to do a review of what happened last time?
Oh yeah, should we do that?
Jeez, man. Wow, we can.
Knock the rust off.
We don't have to. I forgot about it too. What is this document we have? So recap from last time. Gollum took Frodo and Sam through the marshlands that surrounded Mordor. He had been on the run from orcs there before and had found a way through. A way that we learned that if you were a bigger person or didn't know where you were going, you couldn't necessarily find. Mm-hmm. They kind of survive on lembas cakes. Obviously, that's this driving hunger and having to ration those out. We learned that, Gollum's not a huge fan of those. Pretty much they have a pretty scary encounter through this really dark, clouded area and sort of in like the middle of the dead marshes where they see these faces in the water. They see all these lights calling to them. Don't follow them, Gollum's advice. And he really kind of saves them and takes them through this perilous location.
Yep.
We also have a very close encounter with a Nazgul that flies overhead. We had heard hints of this before in Emyn Muil where they heard a cry and a distant shriek that they thought, man, that takes us back to just leaving the Shire. And it gave them a really weird feeling. Yeah. And they hear that again here, and they realize that the Dark Lord has he's pulled the ring wraiths back to himself, and now they're flying around, which is kind of scary. And Frodo starts to feel this idea that he's being constantly watched by Sauron and the dark powers. And we get that again this chapter too. I don't know how many times we see the word eyes, but it's all over the place, referring to Gollum, referring to his feeling of being watched, avoiding the sight of others. So it's a common theme where a strand that's being pulled at again and again and again.
Yeah, good call. Absolutely.
On the fifth morning, they wake up and they realize they're very close to Mordor. The land is desolate, unwelcoming. We had both kind of forgotten that we get a taste of Mordor here. Like, right. I think that we were so used to the movieisms that it's like, oh yeah, we get out of the marshes and the gates right there. They experience Mordor, the thirst, the hunger, the desolation, almost like, and even they talk about their breath being hard to get. It's a poisonous country. Area. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they pretty much arrive at the gates, and the Nazgul flies overhead for the third time in this chapter, and Gollum says, this is a perilous sign. This is bad luck, and it's with he's refusing to proceed at this point, and Frodo has to take Sting out and kind of say, "Let's go, man. Let's walk, or you get this point in you." Right. So he has to get kind of firm with Smeagol Gollum there. Yeah. So
this is a
lot happened in that chapter.
It did. A lot did happen. It was. I mean, we were dead by the end of that chapter. That was
dead. Get it?
But in this chapter, I noticed that like. I don't know why I had forgotten this, but they don't actually tell Gollum why he's leading them. Yeah. I kind of was under the I don't know why I thought this, but I kind of thought maybe he halfway knew or suspect. He doesn't, and so that's something Sam brings up that keeping that very secret and private from him. He's just helping he wants to be close in proximity, to the precious and make sure it doesn't get back into Sauron's hands and all that good stuff. So our summary for this chapter, and it'll be good to do a detailed summary here because we'll probably be jumping around all over the place. Frodo and Sam, once they're there, as we mentioned, they're at the Black Gate. They're at Mordor, called the Teeth of Mordor, right? The tall towers, the tall towers there that were built earlier by the Men of Gondor, which is super. Isn't that interesting? That's super cool. Cool connection there. After the fall of Sauron, but they were abandoned. We'll get into that. They enter this, or they watch, I guess, the Easterlings. Yeah. Right. So these armies, marching in through the gates there, and they talk at one point that it's the biggest. Like this is where an army has to come through. This is the big gate. This is the big Black Gate. So
and also like I think it's the first time that the hobbits realize that there are men, just normal men. Yes. Groups of people fighting and pledging to Sauron, which is kind of a disturbing realization. They may have, I guess, maybe known of it before, but it hits home here.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That there are other groups. Yeah. Yeah, we always think it's just orcs and what have you, but it's definitely a lot more
And that kind
diverse.
of sort of sets a tone for the next chapter, doesn't it? You have to be wary of men too.
Yes.
Like before, it was like if you found a man, that's okay. I mean, unless you're in Bree, you gotta be careful.
Right.
But that's a good sign. Like a lot of men have helped them, and
Yes.
not so much. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you said, Gollum does not want to go forward. Frodo is
Yeah.
insisting, and he's wondering, at basically at all costs, this is where they have to go. And it's at that point that we hear from Gollum that there's another way. We can go a different way, and we'll talk about why he held that back, or did he hold it back, intentionally, unintentionally, whatever it may
yeah.
be.
Dude. Man, wow.
We're thinking the same thing,
I mean, I don't know.
Right, I know.
Was it his ace? It was a reaction.
Well, he thinks about it that previous chapter when he's talking to himself, but we kind of know.
That's true. That's
from having,
true.
Yeah, we have that moment where if you've read it before, you're like, oh, there it is. But when you're first reading it, wouldn't really know what he's talking about there. Who is she?
Right.
Who is he going to take her past? Who's he going to take them past?
True.
But he was taking the hobbits. Getting in the chapter here, but that's okay. Let me finish.
It's all right.
Let me finish the summary real quick. So yeah, they talk about where they're going to go. Basically, I should have said in the summary here, they sit down and contemplate where they want to go for a long time.
As much physical traveling as we did in the previous chapter, we do a lot of mental decision-making, exploration internally here.
Yeah,
Don't we?
right. Exactly. So
Because this is like if you're thinking about chess and this being a game, this is a move, and you're the chess master.
Yep.
Chess club alum,
President.
actually a founder, over
President
here.
of Chess Club.
Yes. Didn't you found it too?
And I founded it.
Find it.
I
Founded
made myself the president.
Founded it. That's
So-
well. When you start something, that's what you are the president.
That's
So, yeah. So this is a move. Sorry,
It's a
I forgot
chess-
where I was
it's-
going there.
yeah.
Butterbur moment. You. This is a move you've got to get right. You've
Yeah.
got to get. You can't rush into that gate, and you can't rush to the secret way, Smeagol, because you got to be sure.
Right.
Do you trust making it through that gate, or do you trust the slinker and stinker? I don't know, man.
It's huge. He even thinks back on what Gandalf would do, and he's struggling.
right.
There's
That's
nothing
right.
that he can. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
So, anyways, Gollum kind of goes over the different pathways as they move south, and there's a different way. He explains the turning right, the going on south and turning left, up into the mountain range, a forgotten pass, all this good stuff. And at the end, to kind of spur them along, we have 4 Nazgul showing up again overhead, scaring the daylights out of us. And we see some interesting folks approaching from the south. So we'll leave you there, and we'll jump into some of these details here. But I kind of feel like there's a lot to talk about, but it's not a huge chapter. It is just a lot of contemplation and more character, I think, development for Frodo, number one, and Sam. You said Sam. I really was thinking more Frodo this chapter, but you're right. There's just a lot of Sam in this too. Well, I can't believe sometimes I say that. Hey, Lane, let me tell you insider information here. There's a lot of character development for these 3 characters: Sam, Frodo, and Gollum. In case you were wondering, okay?
And I'm just sitting there eating it up. He's right.
Yeah.
He's absolutely right. Those 3 characters, there's a lot of development.
We're really going to
But
hone in on them.
I think that, we're joking, but that is a fair point to make because
Well, we kind of stop and actually.
well, the last time we're how many chapters? 3 chapters in to their half of the 2 towers. Last time we were with this group, all we had from Smeagol and Gollum was hearsay. We had no direct relation to him whatsoever.
Right.
Frodo, we had the most understanding of, and Sam, we'd have tidbits here and there, but the focus of the Fellowship was Gandalf, Aragorn, and Frodo.
Yeah.
Not Sam.
Right.
The Hobbits. We talked about how the Hobbits kind of got lost in the second half of in book 2
Sure.
of the Fellowship of the Ring, and then how in book 3 we get a lot of Merry and Pippin. They're fleshed out, and now here in book 4,
Yeah.
we get a bunch of Sam and Frodo.
Right. Well, and you're right that, it kind of, I'm guessing, Tolkien had to kind of weave that sort of like, here, I'm going to bring these characters forward, push these ones back, bring these guys back up
a
forward.
lot of people to manage.
Yeah,
man.
it is.
It's just
a lot of characters that we care about.
yes,
So.
yes, yeah, unbelievable.
And now I threw, Gollum into the mix. I care about him now. It's just crazy, So, this first part, just about the teeth of Mordor and these towers, I thought that was interesting.
I did too, and I had forgotten that the men of Gondor built the towers.
Yeah.
and almost kind of as a way to keep watch of the evil in Mordor after they
return.
Right, yeah. And then and it wasn't even like they were taken by force. It's like as their watch became sleepy. Is that how Tolkien puts it? That they were reclaimed, and he returned and took those back, and they'd fallen into decay, which almost kind of suited him better.
Yep.
But it's just an interesting thing that as we're getting closer to the heart of Sauron here, physically where his power is, we see this again and again of these places that were once or built by and once good places of power for men that have been taken and corrupted, which is really what the ring does, if you think about it, for the use of Mordor, of Sauron's forces. You think about Minas Morgul. Yeah. Before it was Minas Morgul, was it Minas Ithil? Maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was, like the sister city of Minas Tirith.
Right.
And then, it gets taken over by Sauron. So it's just really interesting to see this idea of something good.
That gets perverted.
Yep. And good gets a little bit laxed and lets evil kind of sneak in and take it over. And then evil is so strong at that point that it can't be reclaimed. So there's definitely a recurring lesson there for us. You know what I mean? Of to be careful of what you let, I don't know, slip into decay because it might be taken over.
Right. Let your guard down, not keeping constant vigilance.
And that's the fear with the Shire, isn't it? I guess that it's the forces surrounding it to keep it strong might weaken, and that evil could penetrate even there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as they're looking at these towers in despair, right, the two hobbits gaze at the towers and the wall in despair. Even from a distance, they could tell in the dim light the movement of the black guards upon the wall. Yeah. So it's being patrolled. It's garrisoned, right?
And it's kind of hard to tell, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like they have to look pretty careful. If they would have rushed into this, they would have found themselves in a pretty bad situation.
Yes, they would have. Although, do you think those cloaks would have protected them more?
Probably.
I think they get stronger the closer you get to Mordor.
Probably. The protection of Lothlorien over them. Yeah, for sure. That's a great point.
Just wondering. Yeah. So let's see. Yeah. So we the day came. So they're as you said, they're kind of looking there. It's ominous, and I feel like Frodo is thinking, "This is it." Okay, I'm here. Do I march up to the gate and demand entry to go and say, "Hey, I need a place to cast this ring into the fire. Can you guys lead me to Mount Doom?" What's he gonna do? You know what I mean?
Right. I've got something I need to destroy. You got a recycling center.
Right.
Was it last chapter that he awoke from that last sleep feeling very energized? Wasn't that him? Like he almost kind of saw the end in sight. And so you're right. He's thinking here like, okay, this is the end.
Yeah. Of
my journey. Like it's coming up right now. I'm braced. I'm ready for it. Let's do this.
Yeah. So, day came and the fallow sun blinked over the lifeless ridges of, how do you say that? Ered Lithoi?
Oh, jeez.
I'm not sure.
Ered Lithoi? Yeah.
Then suddenly the cry of brazen-throated trumpets were heard, and this is where they kind of watch that army coming in, right? So they see the gates, they're kind of sounding the horns inside and out, and you can tell. It says at one point they see this gleaming off of the spears and the helmets, that indicated there was an army within, and so you can see this host kind of, mounting here. And actually, later on, Gollum kind of explains. It's weird that Gollum knows this sort of stuff. That where his eye is fixed, and it's not on the place that he wants to take him, which is south, and through the secret passage, right? But right here, where they're at, up in this northwest corner, is where all of the attention and all the that's where he's looking across the great river there, and that's the place we should not be. When they come a marching, they're marching out through this way,
right? And if there's going to be a battle at on the borders of Mordor, that's where it's going to happen.
Yeah,
because around it describes the mountain range as well. That this gate spans two mountain ranges that go to the north, and then off to the west of Mordor, and it pretty much encloses that country. It's like a natural border hedge that this gate is the only real easy way in or out.
Yep.
So
well, and Sam says, "Here's the gate." And it looks to me that this is about as far as we're ever going to get.
Right.
Here it is. So what do we do? So I don't know, I'd be defeated at this point. Like,
Absolutely, man.
really, this is it? Like, what was the plan? You know,
Right.
Why were there no details given by Elrond or Gandalf? Were they discussed with Aragorn? And then.
Dude, that's a great question.
Maybe at the breaking of the Fellowship, it just kind of happened in such a way that Aragorn, if he would have allowed Frodo to leave, he would have said, "Hey, here's the plan. When you get there, look for these things and try to go in this way." Otherwise, what were they expected to do? I kind of wonder.
A great question.
You know,
What and was some of that given to? Did Gandalf talk to Frodo privately? Did they have any conversations? You know what I mean? I guess that's part of we don't really necessarily know.
Yeah, I mean, he even says at one point, I can't remember where it's at, but he says that he's thinking back on what Gandalf had said.
He almost has he almost kind of has a vision, doesn't he?
Yeah,
of
yeah,
Gandalf, yeah,
yeah. And he says he was imagining whether Gandalf had actually ever been in this land.
That's true. Yeah,
and it was like he hadn't.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
I mean,
isn't
which
that
is
crazy.
Kind of not necessarily like all the way into the heart of it, but
Right.
he's been in and around, the outskirts of it. But what was the plan to get in?
I know this is backtracking a little bit, but did you love that visual of the changing of the guard?
Yeah.
Where beneath the hill on either side of the battlement, the rock was bored into 100 caves and maggot holes. There a host of orcs lurked, ready at any signal to issue forth like black ants going to war.
Right.
Just how the day and night guard changed, and also how there are these little hidden areas that a force and an army could rush out at any time.
Yeah.
Just like and everything too. Like talking about the towers being called the teeth of Mordor. It's like an animal waiting to attack. Like you're going into the mouth of an animal.
Yeah, that's a dangerous
predator.
visual too. Yeah, like those
yeah.
kind of like you said, like almost like an anthill. Like they're ready to storm out and go
And you
crazy.
think anthole, you think like an insane number, like a vast number, right? All those holes there, and that a swarm could just come right out and devour you. So, man, a scary place.
Right.
To be.
And so while they're there, what's being asked of Smeagol, they kind of say, like there's nothing left to do except for try to get in and around the country through this gate or scale it or what have you. And he, Gollum says, no use. We can go no further.
Yeah.
Smeagol said, we'll go to the gate and then we'll see. And we do see. Yeah. Oh yes, my precious, we do see. Smeagol knew hobbits could not go this way. Oh yes, Smeagol knew. So, he knows that just going here, he had to almost like show them. So this is where my question is like, he knew they couldn't get in this way.
Right.
He knew that they would just be surrendering the ring. He doesn't want to do that. So I think it's just, he had to show them this so that they would trust him, I guess, to take him to take this really backwards way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's almost like right. Was there no other intent, or like you said, was this his way of getting them to say, take us the back way, which I know is gonna help me get the ring back. Where does the Smeagol versus the Gollum affect the planning?
That is exactly what I was about to ask you, which
Right.
is like, whose plan was it? Was it Smeagol or Gollum's plan to come here first?
And then how did those two personalities interfere with each other's plans? I would think, man. I think with as much turmoil that we see it when Sam observes him, like you brought up, talking over Frodo, having this conversation with himself about what to do, about where to lead them. Man, it's not as clear as you want to believe, right?
Sam says at one point that like he heard who won in the end, who had the last word, and it was Gollum.
Yeah,
wasn't Smeagol. So that kind of scares him. Is that that side of him won out almost.
Has mastery done it? Yeah,
seemed anyways.
Yeah, wow.
or had tricked, manipulated the other side. Because I do I'm almost treating them as like two separate.
Oh, they are.
Yeah,
they're different people.
Yeah. So, anyways, he said, Sam gets all flustered about, well, then what then what the plague did you bring us here for?
Because Master said so.
Right. Yes, Master said so. Master said so. Wise Master. And Frodo agrees. Yes. I did. I said so because I my purpose is to enter Mordor, and I know no other way. Therefore, I shall go this way. So his mind is just set. Like, this is what I must do. I will go this way. It's almost like he's walking by faith a little bit here. Like, I just have to step and go. If this is my fate, this is it.
Yeah.
So here we go.
And
let's roll the dice.
Right. And he also kind of, this is where Gollum starts saying, no, don't take it there. Even says, He says he'll kill you. He'll if he gets it, he'll eat all the world. And he says, keep it yourself. Keep it, nice master, and be kind to Smeagol. Don't let him have it. Or go away, go to nice places, and give it back to little Smeagol. Yes, yes, master, give it back, eh? I know, man. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's
Gollum and Smeagol.
Yeah, and it's
back and forth.
And it's interesting how the first thing he goes to too is just keep it yourself.
Right.
Think about like keeping it yourself versus taking it right into that land. Safer in your hands. It's just wild to think about like the psychology of what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man alive.
Right. Guys, sorry if I'm sniffling. My cold is getting
Don't
back.
forget the sniff.
Don't forget the sniffling.
I am
literally
the phrase.
Yeah, it's
been a while. I can't remember.
Sniffing or sniffling. I'm not sure. I'm
got
not
it too,
trying
buddy.
to sniff out the next clue in this book here. I'm actually just still have the cold is lingering.
Man.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's just total back and forth here, and it's keep it or give it to me.
Yeah.
Just don't give it to him. So yeah, Sam said nothing. The look on Frodo's face was enough for him. He knew that the words of his were useless.
Yeah.
Right. So he knows that his master's going to make up his own mind
Yep.
here, and let's see. Yeah, it kind of goes on like this is where they start to. Gollum is explaining why he brought them here, which was that you told me to, and so here we are. Gollum, however, did not intend to be got rid of yet, so he almost is ready to like let hey, you've done your job.
Yep.
You're good. See ya. Is that promise fulfilled? Did you got me here? I asked you. That was really what they had arranged.
Yeah.
Was to get me
get me to Mordor.
Yeah.
Or get us to Mordor. Even back a couple paragraphs, it's interesting. Sam is having this internal kind of dialogue with himself. And it's crazy. He says there, he's like, no, I've got to stay with my master. So you have to imagine, too, that thought or temptation is in his head, too, just out of the fear. And it says, we've come to the bitter end. But I've got to stay with my master. Even if it's just to get rid of Gollum, I'm going with him, whatever that means.
Yeah.
So it's just cool how we don't really get inside. I mean, we do get inside of Frodo's head, but not nearly as much as Sam. Sam is kind of like he's us in this situation, and Frodo's someone who has this task that we can never really understand. Gollum is someone who there's enough people in there already. And it's interesting how we get these little glimpses into Sam's mind.
Right.
But yeah, sorry. Yeah.
No, you're right. It is fascinating.
Yeah.
So along that note there, Gollum is kind of eventually let's just get to it. He brings up another way, right?
Yeah.
He kind of he indicates once he's being almost dismissed or he sees that they're set, both of them, on going forward. He's like, okay, wait, hold on, hold everything.
Yeah.
There's another way.
Yeah.
And I think it's a tactic.
Yeah.
I think it was sort of like, he's playing dumb. You guys told me to bring you here, and I did.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there is another way. It's longer. It's darker. It's still dangerous.
Right. But it's possible.
But it's possible. Yeah.
And I know the way.
I almost
So
wonder.
again, it's a reliance on him again too.
Yep.
To get there, I have to. I have to be around. I got to take you there. It's dangerous.
I think he was totally manipulating him.
Yeah.
Like here, I think he obviously we saw he knew about this way, and Gollum went out and said, "Take him there."
Right.
And that wasn't. I think that we can infer that. You know what I'm saying?
And almost like that Gollum personality knew that Smeagol personality really doesn't want any harm to come to Frodo.
Yes.
I think he loves Frodo in a way.
Yeah,
and
he
that
showed him
Gollum
compassion.
Had,
he hasn't seen it.
And that he can't that as long as that Smeagol personality is alive, he can't kill Frodo.
Yeah.
So it's this Gollum character who uses that idea that she could do it. You don't have to do it. She can do it for you. It just hit me. It's like that's another way that Gollum is manipulating Smeagol to say, it's all right. You're not going to kill Frodo, Master, but she will.
That's a good point.
But it's not you.
Yeah.
You're if you take them along the way,
They
and she happens to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
then she's there, and I benefit. Yeah. Huh.
Okay, I don't want to get us too muddled here, but there's one more
Sure.
line. All right, and it's Smeagol talking about being afraid. He says he does not want to lose nice master. So I have that underlined, and I have an arrow that just says it's a question mark.
Mm-hmm.
Is he talking about Frodo there, or is he talking about his master, the ring?
Oh wow.
What do you think?
Well, I think when the speaker is, I think it's both, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Yeah, who is speaking?
Double that. You can take that any way you want, right?
Sometimes they both speak, or sometimes they say the same thing.
It's true.
Their minds are going to come together, and I don't know. One thing comes out and has dual meaning, right?
Yeah. Okay, there it is.
That's cool.
Who is the master at that moment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes, Smeagol starts to talk more about this way. No, Master did not ask. Master did not say what he meant to do. He does not tell poor Smeagol. He says, Smeagol, take me to the gate and then goodbye. Smeagol can run away and be good. But now he says, I purpose to enter Mordor this way. So Smeagol is very afraid. He does not want to lose Nice Master, as you said. Yeah. And so that's the whole conversation that he's having with him here is that, like,
I'm on your side.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you guys are trying to do.
Right. Again, plain dumb, like
maybe
you said.
if you would tell me. And I think they didn't, though. See, this is where I kind of was struck, like, oh, yeah, they don't act. I mean, because as Sam says, he would lose his mind.
Right.
He would lose his ever-living mind, and he would probably go, figure something out. I mean, he would be working twice as hard, I think, to dissuade them.
So here's my question, though. What does he think they're going to try and do? Like, what is the other why else would you take the ring into Mordor?
Unless you're going to use it to defeat.
Sure, okay.
So maybe these hobbits have some special
Which, in
power.
a way, they are.
They are, yeah.
Right, yeah.
But because, like, if it goes to Gondor, they're going to use it as a weapon.
True.
And actually, later on, Frodo hints at that, saying that he could use it against Gollum.
Yeah.
Right? And he's the things he can make Gollum do after.
That's true.
With the Precious. But, so Sam, he's not buying all this, though. This other way. And even Frodo at first is kind of like reluctant to believe it, not really sure what to make of it.
Yeah.
This is where you get Sam kind of calling Gollum Slinker and Stinker.
Yep.
Right?
That's right, man. Two halves of his own mind.
Yeah. And he's kind of recalling, things he had said in the past and then going over this alliance, whether it's good for him and Frodo, all that good stuff. So
and again, it's like it's his thoughts are so interesting.
Yeah.
Like when we get that inside, we get Sam's like path of thought. And I love how we have, I can't remember if it's this chapter or not, where Tolkien kind of interjects and says, like, crap, what does he say? Or it might be next chapter. I don't know. I can't remember. Where he says, like, this is basically how Sam thought. It's not necessarily the truest way of thinking, but in his mind, this is what he thinks. Like he has that moment where he's talking about how Sam feels like Frodo can make no wrong decisions.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
You remember that part? And,
yes.
and Tolkien says this, of course, isn't true, but it's how Sam's mind works.
That's how he. Yep.
It's just really cool, dude.
Yeah, to remind you that we're talking about what a character thinks.
Yeah. And I think this is how or how Tolkien really endears Sam to all of our hearts. Yeah. Because we get this inside. We're seeing inside his mind, and his thoughts are constantly about his master, helping Frodo. Dude, that's another idea too. Is we've got Smeagol who calls Frodo master, and Sam who calls Frodo master as well.
Yeah.
And both like kind of vying for his well-being, and they have their own agenda. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's good. That's a good call. Okay, so let's see. Sam's suspicious, right?
Yeah.
He says, anyhow, old Stinker is so frightened of the enemy, and he's under orders of some kind from him. He's supposing, right? Or he was.
Yeah.
That he'd given us, that he'd give us away rather than be caught helping us, rather than let his precious be melted, maybe. At least that's my idea, and I hope the master will think it out carefully. He is wise as any, but he's soft-hearted.
Yep. That's
what he is. It's beyond any Gamgee to guess what he'll do next. And that reverence, that he has for Frodo is pretty cool. He considers him to be one of the wisest, right, of all peoples, right? It's just like behind.
That's what he said that Tolkien commented on.
Yeah, maybe behind Gandalf and Bilbo.
Yeah, that's right.
Then there's Frodo. Of all the wisest,
of all the people,
in all
didn't even throw Elrond in there.
No, I mean, think about it. Like, they are deep. They're good things. It's like, I don't know, some of those small little.
Well, Mr. Bilbo learned him his letters. I mean,
the
people who've done the most for him, right?
Right. I even mean too, like when you're looking at like just how this maybe relates to life, or you're taking a lesson from this story. It's like these hobbits. What can they teach? Where's that great wisdom?
Yeah.
And it lies in simple things.
True.
And so I don't know. It's kind of cool that he gives that credit to Frodo and Bilbo.
Oh yeah.
Anyways. All right. Let's move on here a little bit. So as he gazed at Frodo, as he gazed, Frodo became aware that there was a great stir and movement on the plain. So we're moving on here just a little bit to where, this is where I had said earlier, it seemed as if there was whole armies on the march.
Yep.
Though for the most part they were hidden by the reeks in the fumes drifting in the fens and the waste beyond. So he's noticing, that this is, that they're gearing up for war here. And that this is no assault upon the Dark Lord by the men of Gondor. This is actually
the allies coming.
He hadn't really thought, I guess, that these folks would be still recruiting. They're still mounting, gathering their forces so they can mount an attack.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Let's move on here a little bit.
And this kind of prompts him to Frodo to say, "I'll trust you one more time." Right? It seems like anyway, kind of seeing that, it's like, wow, okay, well, because these are my only two options. I either go in at the gate.
Right.
Or I listen to Smeagol, or I try and do it myself, which is unrealistic because I don't even know where I am. I've never been in this land before. So that for sure, seeing like an army of pretty scary looking people marching in, and this force that already looks menacing, getting stronger. Right. Maybe, I don't know. He hasn't led us astray so far. That's a point that he's made. You've kept us away, but he says. What does he say? He brings up the number 3 again. He says, "For twice now we have been in your power, and you have done no harm to us, nor have you tried to take from us what you once sought," which is pretty important. I mean, he was sitting over top of Frodo, but didn't make any moves that even Sam felt he should intervene with. May the third time prove the best, but I warn you, Smeagol, you are in danger.
Can I say on the note of danger there, real quick? Just. Yes. Frodo, at one point, this line is super neat here. It says, as if suddenly made fully aware of the peril of their position alone in the growing light of day, so near to this vast menace, Frodo quickly drew up his frail gray hood close upon his head. So he's, I don't know.
One of those moments of like clarity, right?
Whoa. Yeah. Look where we're at here.
You ever had a moment like that?
Yeah. Absolutely. I recently have had several moments of clarity,
We're just like it's almost kind of an overwhelming. Obviously, here it's an overwhelming like sensation, isn't it? It's crazy. But I think that's cool that he puts that in there, because I think we have all had moments like that where we're like, just the, I don't know, perspective hits you all at once, and you're like, whoa, okay, all right, I know what I have to do. Like, this is ridiculous. I'm even thinking about going this way. Right. And that can be a very internal thing too. It's decisions. I can't believe I'm even thinking about doing this.
That's true. Yeah.
Something I know is wrong that I've allowed myself to believe is right or justifiable.
There you go.
Right? I mean, this is like something that we experience probably more often than not in our where we live in the world, who we are as people, in our culture, like as an internal reality.
Well, let's think about this for a second. So he approaches the gate, and it's almost as if he's it's almost like he's just given over his free will to fate. It's almost like he's given up this, like, it is what it is. Yep. Here I am.
That's a great point.
And then, wait a second. Let me sit and think about this. Yep. I do have a choice.
I have some choice here.
I can decide.
And isn't that the whole debate of this book too?
Yeah.
That we've seen time and time again. What is destiny and what is decision?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. I mean,
nice find, bro.
Well, but I'm just thinking to myself, like, that's where he's at, right? I mean, he doesn't know what to do here, but like, he has, as you said, moment of clarity where he looks and he says, wait a second. I'm going to walk into that? Like, the battle's over. If I don't come up with something else, if I don't think of a different way, or if something doesn't present itself, and now, Gollum has provided, even if it's just prolonging the war, it's like, okay, I'm not, if I walk there right now, it's over. Game over. Yeah. He has the ring. I failed. Yeah. So it is that moment of clarity. That was needed and necessary, and so,
And I wonder if, like, Gandalf's words, too, when did he say this, though? Didn't he talk about time and secrecy being their two biggest weapons?
He has,
And so I wonder if that was in the back of his mind, rattling around somewhere, and he's like, I go right there. Secrecy's gone. Time's gone.
Yep.
I've lost. Those are my two biggest weapons. So maybe, like you just said, if I go with Gollum, I might just be prolonging the inevitable, but who knows what can happen in that time. My friends might still be out there fighting. It might allow them time. And then how interesting, like, skipping way ahead, how his friends think the same thing about him.
Yeah.
If we can buy him some time.
Yes.
If we can draw the gaze towards us, maybe he can accomplish his task.
Right. Yeah, it is crazy. to
Ooh.
think about it that way.
Never make a rash decision, right? Isn't this kind of what this is teaching us? Like,
Yeah, sleep on it.
think about it.
Yeah, sit down, take some time.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
you're right. So now he had just made. He was warning Gollum that he would, or Smeagol, that he would be in danger.
Yeah.
Right. And he agrees. Yeah. Yes, Master.
Right.
Dreadful danger. Yeah, sure. No, I don't think you understand what I'm talking about.
Clarifies there.
Yeah, I'm talking about danger to yourself alone.
Yeah.
You swore a promise by what you call the precious. Remember that. It will hold you to it, but it will seek a way to twist it to your own undoing. Already, you are being twisted. You revealed yourself to me just now, foolishly. Give it back to Smeagol, you said. And we talked about this. We didn't read it, but
Yeah.
we talked about where he was talking about, the desire. Just hand it over to me. Do not say that again. Do not let that thought grow in you. And that's, pointed out. I mean, one of the things is, even as friends, like Lane and I, if you see something going on, help your friend acknowledge, say, I see this. I don't know if you don't see it. And that sometimes, like, it's like a personal thing, right? Once you realize that they're doing wrong, or that a bad thought has entered, or what have you, it's up to that person. I say that realization is there. Now, what do you do?
Yeah.
So he gave that to Smeagol and Gollum.
Yeah.
Like, I see this in you. Here it is. Don't let it grow, friend. Don't let this consume you and take over your life. Kind of trying to pull him back to the light, trying to help him here.
And at the same time, showing him too, I'm not a dummy.
Right.
Like you're not tricking me. You're not fooling me.
That's right.
And even maybe showing too, like, okay, even if you do take us this way, I know that it might not be a safe way. It's just interesting how you're right. He's doing two things there. He's trying to bring him back. And he's also, continuing this mastery over him. You call me master, and here's partly why. I can see through your, I know what you're trying to do here.
Yeah. Another really cool part to this, I was talking to Lane before we started this, is the idea that what Frodo could do with the precious.
Yeah.
Because he says, let's see, you will never get it back. In the last need, Smeagol, should I put on the precious?
Right, yeah. Here.
And the precious, that you mastered long ago, if I, wearing it, were to command you, you would obey. Even if we were to leap from a precipice or cast yourself into the fire, and such would be my command. So have a care, Smeagol.
Isn't that line too filled with irony?
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah,
like it's.
Yeah,
there's some severe foreshadowing going on there.
Think about what he means there. I mean, like if he wields the ring, I'm your master. Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it grants Frodo and some of the ring bearers some type of power, even though they're not, considered the greatest in Middle Earth. Like they could wield some level of power with it. Right.
I mean, even the simple thing that it prolongs your life.
Yeah.
Right. Like it did with Bilbo. Like it did with Gollum in a kind of a undesirable way, but yeah, for sure it does. The power is real. Yep.
Sam looked at his master with approval.
Yeah, I love this dude.
But also surprised. There was a look in his face and a tone in his voice that he had not known before. It had always been a notion of his that the kindness of dear Mr. Frodo was of such a high degree that it must imply a fair measure of blindness, which is interesting, right?
Yeah.
Of course, he also firmly held the incompatible belief that Frodo was the wisest person in the world.
Right.
With the possible exception of old Mr. Bilbo and of Gandalf. So, he's looking at him, he's revering his master and his friend, because, he spoke some powerful words there. And he really got super serious.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah, for sure. And Gollum reacts in a way that reflects the power of those words. He's groveling on the ground. He's not speaking any clear words other than nice master. I mean, he kind of put the fear of the ring into him.
Yeah, he did.
The fear of the precious. And it's interesting. It's Frodo, man. Frodo. Here again, we're talking about Gollum. Talking about Sam.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Why do you think it is that we so easily, not easily, but we forget about Frodo?
I know.
Is it just because, we know he's got the ring, he's the ring bearer, but my gosh, dude, this line alone, you could blow up. Frodo waited patiently for a while. Then he spoke again, less sternly. So Gollum is making a scene that could draw attention.
Yeah.
And I got to be thinking that like most orcs in Mordor know about the creature Gollum. Maybe not most, but he's a creature that has been used by the enemy. Maybe there's some wanted posters up in Mordor. I don't know. I'm thinking about. I'm using my Bob Ross imagination. That there's stories behind everything, and there's a wanted poster of Gollum in some towers. Maybe in Cirith Ungol or something. I don't know. So he might be a figure that they would look at least go like, man, he's kind of orcish looking out there. What's an orc doing? Groveling on the ground and moving all around and stuff. Anyway, it's just interesting. He waits patiently for him, and then he speaks in a manner that calms Gollum, that brings him back in.
Yeah.
And that
finally allows him to tell them which way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is, so the description here is interesting. And just, after a while he grew calmer, as Lane said, and Frodo gathered bit by bit that if a traveler followed the road, that he would come to a crossing in a circle of dark trees. On the right of the road went down to Osgiliath and the bridges of the Anduin. In the middle, the road went on southward. And he says on and on and on. We never went that way, but they say it goes 100 leagues until you see the great waters. So that's just that south road, right?
I mean, yep. Mm-hmm.
So he's just kind of explaining that, this is the way we could go, but he explains that there's a third way, right, that we could turn left. And it would take you past, begins to climb upward, climbing back towards the tall shadows. When it turns around the black rock, you'll see it. Suddenly, you'll see it above you, and you'll want to hide. See what? What will we see? The old fortress, very old, very horrible now. We used to hear tales from the south when Smeagol was young, long ago. Oh, yes. We used to tell lots of tales in the evening, sitting by the banks of the great river in the Willowlands. Yeah. So there's a little connection as to where Smeagol is from.
Yep.
When the river was younger. And he's weeping, muttering, probably thinking about home and thinking about his past life. And but he's just talking about this trail, this pathway by which they would need to go. Mm-hmm. And along the way, let's see. He goes on to tell some of the scarier stories, some of the tales about this, tower and the connection to, let's see, Minas Tirith. Oh, it's Frodo who brings up that would be Minas Ithil, that Isildur, the son of Elendil, built.
Yep.
Yeah,
that is now Minas Morgul.
Yeah,
yeah.
So that's the place he's talking about, right?
Yes.
I think, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because they have to pass right along Minas Morgul. That's where the stairs start to climb. And is that where he talks about how the stairs go up, 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 up?
Yeah, eventually he gets there because he goes on a little bit more and talks just about just Isildur city and how Sauron hates anything that he built and all that kind of stuff. Four-fingered Sauron, what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's right. And then he talks about. Oh, it's Sam who's saying, you're talking about the enemy being so close. Surely he knows about this way,
right?
And about his own mountains, and a road that would go there would have to be guarded as close as it is to, this Minas Morgul, Minas Ithil, and the tower isn't empty, is it? Oh no, not empty, whispered Gollum. It seems empty,
right?
But it isn't. And the film does a great job of this. It looks like it's not occupied.
Right.
Very dreadful things live there. Orcs, yes, always orcs, but worse things live there too. The road climbs right under the shadow of the walls and passes the gate. Nothing moves on the road that they don't know about. The things inside know. The silent watchers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then Sam's like, "Wow, this is great advice."
Yeah.
Go another long march south to find ourselves in the same situation or worse when we get there, if we ever do.
Right.
This is where Gollum says, you must try to understand. He doesn't expect attack that way.
Right.
And this is where you talked about, Gollum explains his eye is fixed up here.
Yep. In the
it's
northwest,
not down
the
there.
west. Yep.
Right. So that's why, he holds the bridges now. He thinks no one can come to the moon tower without fighting the big battle at the bridges, or getting lots of boats, which they cannot. So he's looking for a massive battle. He's not looking for three travelers.
This seems to be like a narrower path, like a less traveled way, an old forgotten way.
Yeah.
And even if they did bring a host that way, you would have to come from. He knows how
you'd have to arrive.
Yeah, where men are at, and he's watching those kingdoms.
Yep.
And they would have to. His gaze is on them right now, and so he would see the boats or the ships or what have you. Yeah.
And that's where Sam, he brings up the point. You seem to know a lot about what he's doing and thinking, the enemy. Have you been talking to him lately or just hobnobbing with orcs? You know, and Gollum, nice hobbit, sensible, not nice hobbit, not sensible. Smeagol has talked with orcs, yes, of course, before he met Master, and to many peoples. So he's saying like this is
he's justifying
history, this is background knowledge that I've learned, but not now. I'm a new being now.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, because I mean they talk about how Aragorn picked him up, and
I love his reaction to the name of Aragorn.
Oh yeah, he gets all upset, doesn't he? Where's that at?
Isn't it cool? Yeah, I guess I jumped ahead. He says, it's Frodo who says, and did you escape out of the darkness, Smeagol, or were you not rather permitted to depart? So that's also him saying, I escaped from Mordor, and this is Frodo saying, well, was it escape or were you let loose?
Yeah. And Gollum believes he was let. I mean, he believes it, even though he may not have been. He may not know the truth.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that was another device of the enemy, right?
Yeah.
And this is where, hold on a second, I'm sorry. Were you not rather permitted to depart upon an errand? That at least is what Aragorn thought. He found you by the dead marshes some years ago. It's a lie, hissed Gollum, and an evil light, here you go, came into his eyes at the naming of Aragorn. Mm-hmm. And I love how we've seen orcs, just his presence, and Enduril, catching glimpses of that, react to that. There's this polarizing reaction to Aragorn, and it's just cool to see that even in Gollum, just his name, like he knows that name, he knows what's carried by that name, he knows the power, and ultimately like the opposite. Well, he's the anti-Sauron in a way, at least in like our idea of it. He's the king that leads the forces of good that end up helping overthrow this darkness. So.
Yeah.
Wild.
Well, he's even justifying himself there in that, like, maybe Aragorn told you that I was seeking this for the Dark One, and he says that's not the case. I'm seeking it for myself. It was mine, and
Aragorn doesn't lie.
Right,
Jeez, Come on, man.
Come on, yeah. So, and Frodo, I think he sees a certainty in that. He can tell that Gollum is actually being truthful there.
Yeah,
and,
sure, yeah.
He believes
at least from what he thinks.
From what he knows.
His perception. Yep.
So...
But here you go again, dude. I love this. Sorry, but the name of Aragorn had put Gollum into a sullen mood.
Yeah,
just changed his entire day, man.
Right. Yeah, he's real fragile, isn't he? We got to be careful with how we talk to.
Yeah, he is.
Talk to Smeagol.
Yeah.
Okay, so they ask again. Is this way not guarded? Because he wasn't really answering it. He finally says that yes. Obviously it's guarded. It's not a safe place. But Master must try it or go home.
Yeah.
No other way. They could not get. Him to say more, the name of the perilous place, and the high pass could not, he could not tell or would not.
Yeah, I love what Tolkien does next here. This is huge, especially like I actually had some time to read the next chapter, which I never, I never do. So it's pretty fresh in my mind. But what he does here is really interesting. Its name was Cirith Ungol, a name of dreadful rumor. Aragorn could perhaps have told them that name and its significance. Gandalf would have warned them, but they were alone. Aragorn was far away, and Gandalf stood amid the ruin of Isengard and strove with Saruman, delayed by treason. So it's really interesting how he there is painting this picture that there's a void, right? That Gollum, Smeagol is having to kind of fill, and it's just not good enough, right? There's this void here that and until here he hasn't really stopped and thought about that too much. So it's like this next chapter where we go in, there's a character that we're going to meet that fills that void. Yeah. That is the middleman between them and Smeagol Gollum, who has experience and can decipher some of Gollum's riddles. Yeah. Right? These places that are these names and places that are being thrown around that are really important and really dangerous. Right. That Gollum is painting in a certain shade that the poor hobbits don't know any better. Yep. So they know that there's a possibility that he could be lying, and there's no one from that area or from a greater knowledge or personal experience who can go, listen, man, he's telling you a lie. Right. This is a place you can go, but it's going to be really, really bad. Yeah. It's going to be really dangerous, and here's the dangers that you need to be aware of that he's leading you into. So it's just interesting how Tolkien as a writer is building that here. He's like, we need a character like this. you know.
Right, they're not here, so yeah,
Right.
let me bring someone in.
Right,
soon.
but you don't even. It's like almost like the subconscious thing. You're thinking like, man, if only we had an Aragorn.
Yep.
If only we had a Gandalf.
Tell us where we stand.
And it's like it builds that desire for that type of character.
Right. I also thought it was cool too. He kind of like, it's almost like a time stamp here too.
Of what? Oh yeah, what's going on?
Yeah. So where they're at compared
True.
to where Frodo and Sam are,
Yes, it is.
when they're at Isengard, which I was like, whoa, okay, that makes sense. That's your check, I
know.
guess. So.
Yep. And actually, that gets brought up with the way Peter Jackson kind of broke up the timeline within the film, like what's in Two Towers versus what's in Return of the King. And he said, if you go by the book, it's not chapter for chapter following. It's different. Even the rate at which the stories are moving along, it's different timing as to what's coinciding with the different events that are going on at the same time.
Yeah, I don't. Here is. Yeah. That's good point. It's a good point.
Dude, this next part.
I know. I don't want to bog us down, but it's so important.
Let's do it.
Frodo kind of he starts to think about. He thinks back to Amon Hen, and he had believed that Gandalf was gone, right? But at the same time, he felt this force kind of, that I was seeking him, but something was vying with it at the same time.
Dude, how did he know, man? Like, how did he have that feeling?
Dude, I don't know. The forces, the powers that are, I don't know. It's just it's crazy. So he sat on the ground for a long while, silent, his head bowed, striving to recall all that Gandalf had said to him. This is the part that I really like to visualize. Is he's just sitting here, really trying to recall, taking a second, So, but there was no counsel to recall here. There was nothing that he could remember that Gandalf had talked about, not even with Aragorn. It was just that first phase of planning. I don't, Gandalf did not expect to meet the Balrog.
Right.
I don't think he knew there was maybe the potential of it, but that's not what he planned or intended, for them to face. Good grief. It's like maybe something else, but like something that he had never been tested against and wasn't sure about. I mean, it's nuts. Yeah. So anyways, yes. Let's see. Oh. Perhaps he could... No. Let me back up here. Indeed, Gandalf's guidance had been taken from them too soon, while the Dark Land was still very far away. Yeah. How they should enter it at the last, Gandalf had not said. Perhaps he could not say. Into the stronghold of the enemy in the north, into Dol Guldur, he had once ventured, but into Mordor, to the Mountain of Fire, into Barad-dûr. Since the Dark Lord rose in power again, he had never journeyed there. Or had he ever journeyed there?
Yeah.
Question mark. Frodo did not think so. And so, and here was a little halfling from the Shire, a simple hobbit of the quiet countryside, expected to find a way where the great ones could not go or dare not go.
That is powerful.
It's nuts, man.
So here you go.
Crazy.
It's so fitting you brought that up. Talking about decision versus destiny, because he says right here, it was an evil fate.
Yep.
Like destiny. Like he had no choice in the matter. But he had taken it on himself, so there's the decision part, in his own sitting room in the far-off spring of another year, so remote now that it was like a chapter in a story of the world's youth when the trees of silver and gold were still in bloom.
Yeah, think back to that.
I know, dude.
I mean, wow.
This was an evil choice. Which way should he choose? And if both led to terror and death, what good lay in choice? I mean, it's crazy just to think like this whole time it's been... It is amazing because it is like they're just kind of sitting there and he's trying to decide. But man, there's so much going on inside, in the soul and the spirit, and it just makes me think. I mean, as I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
Do we want to do the same here?
Do we want to do the same here?
Do we want to delve deep and try and start a podcast, man?
We could.
A vision of a Lord of the Rings book club that unites people from all over the world.
Yeah.
And becomes something so big that we can't even understand it ourselves. And the genesis of which is right now. Okay. A spring day in a land far off where the trees were still silver and gold. We got to get the name right, though. I'm getting a little poetic.
Yeah.
So you got any...
I can see it.
Got any ideas?
I'm thinking the Slinker and Stinker podcast.
I like that. We could... I mean, there you go. Talking about Chase McKinney and mental health. That would be... Right up the alley.
Yeah, that would be.
How about the Gleam of Spears podcast?
Yeah, I like that. Gleam of Spears, yeah.
Not my best idea. What, you got anything else?
News from Bree podcast.
I'm all about that, man.
Yeah.
Butterbird Daily Times or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure as Shire Talk podcast.
Sure is Shire Talk. Oh, that's great.
We're getting closer. Maybe one of these days.
Yes, sir.
At least promise me you'll think about it.
Yep, I will.
Okay.
I might just sit down for a whole chapter and just
sit
decide
and think.
which one we want to go with, okay?
Which path shall we choose?
One time we'll do an episode and we'll just bring up all the names and we'll just consider, okay?
Man,
all right,
that's awesome. We're kind of almost to the end.
Yeah, we're almost
of this
here
chapter,
at the
aren't
end here. So the day drew on, deep silence fell upon the gray hollow where they lay, so near the borders of the land of fear. A silence that could be felt. It was thick. There's this thick veil that cut them from away from all of the world. Above them, there's this dome of pale sky, barren with fleeting smoke, but it seemed high and far above, as if through great depths of air with a brooding thought.
So like paralleling, how he's feeling even.
Yeah.
That he's gone so internal here that, and also interesting too, before he felt like he couldn't get away from the gaze of Sauron. Like eyes were always on him. And now it's like, not so much. There's this.
Well, he's so close and
I know.
Doesn't really,
Right. So you got to wonder, like, was there an actual physical barrier or was this just a sensation? I'm guessing probably just a sensation, but it's interesting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So another bit here where we joke that he was sitting contemplating the whole chapter, but Frodo then now puts he bows his head right over his knees. Sam leaned back and puts his hands behind his head and stares out at the empty sky.
Synopsis of the chapter.
That's what happened right there. We're done. So he's really just watching Frodo kind of think through all of this.
Yeah.
It's an evil choice. We had said before. There's no good decision here. Both of these options lead to terror and death.
Yeah.
In Frodo's mind.
Yeah.
Let's see.
They get this warning fear.
Yeah. What is that all
Right.
about?
It's
Is
like
this the
they're
Nazgul coming here?
Yeah,
they are.
their wraithy sense is tingling. The same
Good.
warning fear was on him as he had felt in the presence of the Black Riders, the helpless horror. Who is this that's cowering? Is this Gollum again? Okay.
Gollum, yep. Mm-hmm.
Horror that had come with the cry in the wind and the shadow of the moon, though now it was not so crushing or compelling. The menace was more remote, but menace it was. Frodo felt it too. His thought was broken. He stirred and shivered, but he did not look up. Gollum huddled himself together like a cornered spider. Interesting choice of words there. The winged shapes wheeled and stooped swiftly down, speeding back to Mordor. Sam took a deep breath. The riders are about again, up in the air. So this is kind of hastening. Like, this is Sam saying, we need to gotta make a decision here, Mr. Frodo. I know,
right.
It's important, but yeah.
Yeah, they talk about whether
they can see him or not because it's daylight. That's right.
They can smell him. That's for sure.
Right.
And
maybe they're creatures. And this is something that I had totally forgotten too. That maybe those, and they're in the movies they're kind of like dragony, but here they're more like birds. Yeah. They're more like vultures, kind of, which is an interesting.
Yeah, it's different.
In that way they're kind of more like a distortion of eagles, aren't they?
Yep.
Yeah. So kind of cool.
Oh gosh,
yeah.
I had a thought there for a second.
I saw you looking up.
Why?
Talking
does
about
that happen?
the daylight.
Oh no, I can't believe that you like the cornered like a spider.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Like I didn't even like.
I know,
you said it. I'm like, what? Like,
and it's only because we've read it that we know, or we've seen the movies and stuff. But it's like,
yeah, but like
interesting. And
that's why rereads are so fun. I think it's
yeah.
like you're like, what?
Is that a little nugget, or is that just the best way to describe him at the time? And even when he's climbing down that cliff face in Emmanuel, he likens him to a spider.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have said a bug, but a spider is crafty. A spider is planning.
Yeah. Right.
Spiders are like menacing, scary things. So yeah.
Right. Okay. So the feeling of dread passed, and this enfolding silence was broken. For some time, they had been cut off from the world, as if by an invisible, like they were on an invisible island.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, right? Let's see. But Frodo did not speak to Gollum or make his choice. His eyes were closed, as if he were dreaming or looking inward into his heart and memory. At last he stirred and stood up, and it seemed that he was about to speak and to decide. But hark, he said, what is that? And this is where we kind of diverge a little bit here, and we see these men approaching from the south.
Yep.
You know, and so it's they come up later, you know, and so this is just a small group of men going to Mordor. He said, you know, dark faces.
Yep.
We have
fierce.
Yeah. They're fierce. Aren't they wearing like a bunch of different like golden earrings?
Yep.
And stuff.
Red paint on their cheeks.
Yeah.
Almost as bad as orcs and much bigger.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, wow. Something that you don't really necessarily think about.
Right. And this is where we get the, how do you say it? Oliphants?
Yeah.
The elephants.
Yeah. That's right, dude. Sam gives us a little nice break from
which isn't that
something
weird?
he's always wanted to
Isn't
see.
that weird to think that they have stories of these creatures
Yeah.
in the Shire?
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. It's like one of those things that you find out later, like, okay, they're a little bit more informed in the Shire than we maybe gave them credit for in the beginning. But
you know what Ted
I don't know.
Sandyman would have said? Oh, it's just far off story tales, that is.
That's right.
Keep it out your mind, Master Samwise.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But Sam's a dreamer, and that's where he kind of has this.
Isn't that kind of like fairy tale? Like, okay, we always talk about Sasquatch.
Yeah.
I mean, are they real? I don't know.
Yeah, they're real.
People want to say, oh, that's ridiculous. You're crazy. Ghosts aren't real. Sasquatch aren't a real creature. You know, and I just think, And I almost wonder if that's not a device of the enemy to discount something that just because it sounds crazy, just because you don't see it every day, doesn't mean it's not real. Imagine the first time someone saw a shark.
Right.
It's a monster.
Yeah.
Imagine just because you're familiar with something doesn't make it any less crazy. If you're not, I don't know. So yeah, he goes on about these Oliphants, right?
Yeah, he goes on. Yeah, I have to. You just brought up something in my mind that I cannot
shoot, here we
forget.
go.
So, finish.
Dude, my thumb is on my cool connection because I don't want to forget about it.
Well, just
Isn't
talk
that hilarious?
about it. Let's just
okay. So while you're looking that up,
Yeah.
So we talk about. I think someone brought this up, and I'm glad I was like looking through it and I took my Butterberg glasses off, so I didn't miss it. But when the animal, we talked about the fox way back in the Shire, right? Had a passing moment where it looked at the hobbits and wondered, what are they doing out here? This is unusual, and we kind of had that break, and we got the look. We got to look inside the eye of a creature, of an animal, and how Tolkien gave it personality. So there's a paragraph way back here that made me think about that fox. Not even an eagle poised against the sun. This is back when they're sitting there still thinking. Not even an eagle poised against the sun would have marked the hobbits sitting there under the weight of doom, silent, not moving, shrouded in their thin gray cloaks. For a moment, he might have paused and considered Gollum, a tiny figure sprawling on the ground. There, perhaps, lay the famished skeleton of some child of men, its ragged garment still clinging to it, its long arms and legs almost bone white and bone thin. No flesh worth a peck. Mm-hmm. It was interesting. Like,
yeah, it is that weird little.
Yeah, just a break,
like a side.
And like, how a disconnected figure would see. Look down and see them. It's a bird's eye view, literally, of what's going on with our characters.
Right. That's good. Yeah.
And it's kind of juxtaposed with that silence that they have, that veil that's cut off from them. They're feeling like suffocated almost, and then we're thrown up into the heights with an eagle peering down and seeing these. Not even seeing the two hobbits and thinking like, there's a dead baby there. I'm not even gonna go for it. It's not worth it.
Right.
It's just kind of cool. It's like it's the same sort of moment that we had with the fox. Here we are with a
it even sounded
it
felt the same, the tone.
Yeah, isn't that cool? It's it's just crazy. He's doing it to provide perspective.
Yeah.
But it's also this cool little break from the tension that's going on too.
Yeah, absolutely.
What were you gonna say, dude, about Oliphants? Have you seen one in real life, or what's going on?
I have not.
Isn't this cool how this is like another thing that Emma Rose brought up? This is like these things evolved into elephants.
Yes, I know. Super cool, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's just crazy. Like,
it's neat. So Sam has this poem that he kind of recites, and just to describe them and what he's heard from his childhood. So gray as a mouse, big as a house, nose like a snake, make the earth shake. As I tramp through the grass, trees crack as I pass. With horns in my mouth, I walk in the south, flapping big ears beyond count of years. I stump around, and never lie on the ground, not even to die. Then it goes on. Oliphant I am, biggest of all, huge, old, and tall. If ever you'd met me, you'd never forget me. If you never do, you won't think I'm true. Yeah. But old elephant I am, and I never lie.
It's great.
Cool. Yeah.
Love it.
So he's just kind of reciting a little bit of that, and they kind of go on to describe the men of the South a little bit more, just being, as you said, in red and gold.
Yeah. He put his hands behind his back, as he always does when reading poetry, right? When he recited that.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. Well, there's the Shire talk reference, right? News from Bree and not sure as Shire talk. Yeah, as the sayings go.
Jeez.
So there's that. Frodo stood up though, and he had laughed in the midst of all his cares when Sam trotted out the old fireside, rhyme of Oliphant's. So that's sort of taken him back, right? It's sort of broken him from this. I don't know. He's all he sees is death and doom and what have you, and it's this little poem
and a memory of home.
Yeah,
right?
It brings him back, right? And kind of maybe reminds him, perks him up a little bit, and he can move on. So, okay. So this is where he kind of decides, that it's time for them to follow Smeagol and do their best there. And Smeagol's, Gollum's happy with that. Good master, wise master, nice master.
Dude, it's so interesting too because he just says Smeagol the third turn may be the best, and he calls him 3 different versions of master right after that.
Yeah.
Good, nice, kind.
Yeah.
Good, wise, nice. It's just like, dude, that number 3 is. I feel like Jim Carrey in the number 23, and I'm seeing 3 everywhere.
Lane's losing his mind. It's
three. It's like, what does it mean?
What the next chapter? I'll open up the book and I'll just flip through it, and he'll just I'll see
my
threes
notes are just
everywhere.
3s everywhere.
It's
oh
nothing.
my gosh, that'd be hilarious. That'd be funny.
That's so cool.
So he's made his choice.
Yeah, he's made his choice there, and so we're gonna follow Smeagol and see what happens.
Yeah. Beautiful, man.
All right, cool. So that
was fun, dude. I've really missed that a lot.
Yeah, who would have thought that we would get that into, I don't know, that decision making? And it actually really is kind of just a different thing. We didn't move anywhere really. We just sat there and we thought, we weighed our choices.
Yeah. Well, in the movie, they don't have time to do it justice like that. It's just like this. Okay, yeah, Gollum, let's go. It lasts for like a minute or 2. Yeah. And here we see this is like the better part of a day of Frodo, like, I don't know, having a serious moment of what should we do? What way is best? I don't know. I don't know. No.
Yeah. So, okay, we are on to the Bywater post here, and I literally just pull up the next one and kind of go. So,
you do a great job, man.
Some of these we'll try to get through in the next couple episodes. We'll try to pack in more, as we have time and stuff. But this is from Tina from New York there. So
awesome. She
says, greetings, Lane and Ezra, Goldberry, and all the uppers. I'm far behind in the podcast. Well, I bet she's caught up by now. She was listening to the Mirror of Galadriel, and that was the time where she decided to send us her story here and just to kind of talk to us more about the connection she made with that episode. She says that she can relate to Lane and everyone losing, our beloved Arwen, right, in this past August. And in May and early June, my family and I lost 2 beloved dogs, our sweet husky mix. The baby boy, is it Nico?
Nico? Yeah.
I was away when this happened.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, about a week before his passing, my husband noticed our boy was not right. He was panting heavily, just laying around. He was only 8 years old.
Oh, my God. Man.
Because my husband has good instincts, he took Nico to the emergency vet where we were horrified to learn that our boy had a tumor on his heart.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, and he didn't have long to be with us. Before this, we had learned that our little girl, Emma, our diva basset hound, had tumors in her digestive tract, much like Arwen, was too old to go under the knife. So,
jeez, double whammy.
Yeah. What we did what we could to keep her comfortable.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Yeah. It was Memorial Day, and I was away on my annual trip to Oklahoma for a music festival. I had begged my husband before I left for the long weekend trip not to make any big decisions in regards to Nico until I came home. He was my dog. Yes, he was our family dog, but he was my dog. Mm-hmm. He would always cuddle with me. When we go for walks, he barely needed his leash because he walked right next to me.
Wow. That's a big deal for a husky too.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Yeah. When I was sick, he'd jump on the bed and stay with me. He always made me happy. I loved him like my very own child, who's all grown up, by the way, by now. But sadly, Nico took a turn And the vet actually had to get on the phone to convince me that my beloved boy would not live long enough, and that by waiting we were making his pain longer. Yeah. So I was devastated. I was on the trip with my two best friends. They let me have some alone time to deal with it, but my whole day, kind of. Yeah, that could derail a whole day, right? These random thoughts, just kind of outburst of crying. My husband was essentially alone to deal with it.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, and that made her feel even worse. When I came home, my boy was not at the top of the stairs waiting for me. Reality sunk in, and I think I cried for an hour. However, my girl Emma was still there as well. My cat Shadow. Okay, so they were some comfort.
It helps. Yep.
Yeah. 2 weeks later, just before my birthday, Emma became lethargic and stopped eating. My husband had to carry her out to the yard so she could relieve herself, and that's when we noticed that things were not right. I won't go into much detail, but we knew something terrible had happened in regards to her tumors.
Oh my gosh!
My husband called our vet and told them what had, and he told them to bring her in the following morning. Honestly, we didn't think our dear girl would make it to see the morning. She did. I didn't go to the vet with my husband. I couldn't deal with it.
Yeah.
The day before, I had gone to the local hospital to say goodbye to a friend losing his battle with cancer. It's just a rough time.
Cow.
Wow,
yeah,
that really,
Tina. Man.
When my husband came home from the vet, we sat on the couch, saying nothing but just holding hands. I cried. He did too, and he will be annoyed that I wrote this part because he doesn't like people knowing that he has emotions. Yeah.
I understand that. Yeah.
About an hour later, my friend's wife called to tell him her husband, my friend, with cancer, had passed away quietly. Jeez. It was a terrible day.
That would be.
Yeah. Losing your pets is never easy. Losing your friends and your family is even harder. Our story has a bit of a happy ending. A few days later, my husband was looking on petfinder.com and discovered some hound puppies that were up for adoption. After some discussion, we jumped in our truck and drove over to New Jersey. We're from New York, to take a look at the puppies. We were going to adopt both of them. Hubby is a huge comic book fan, and we already decided to name the pups Thor and Loki.
That's
wow.
Sweet, man.
That's cool.
I like that.
However, when we arrived at the shelter, one of the boys had been adopted. The one left, who was named Mopsy at the time, jumped into my husband's lap, and I saw his heart melt. Oh. Yeah, I knew Mopsy was destined to come home with us. On the drive home, he sat between us in the truck. My husband didn't want to name him Loki any longer. He had a bag of Jack's cheese doodles in the truck, and I jokingly said, "Let's call him Jax." That way I can tell people he was named after the Sons of Anarchy character. Wow. Husband laughed and said the name was perfect and told me to believe what I wanted, but he's named after a snack food. Yeah, well, that's also cool, I think. A few weeks later, we discovered another dog that needed lots of love and a good home. She was a husky mix like Nico, and she resembled Nico very much. She had been abused, and I knew we were the family to take her in and show her love and kindness. She came with the name Gris Gris, but I renamed her Harley because of my love of the Batman character, Harley Quinn. Yeah,
cool.
That's cool. Our home feels complete again with our new fur kids. Harley, after some time, has been thriving. While she is still skittish of people, she is playful with us and loves to ride in the car. Jax is now 14 months old, and he is so energetic, and sometimes I just watch him and I'm exhausted, but I wouldn't trade them for anything in the world. I know this dragged on. I'm sorry. Please don't be. I talked a lot. I think Lane and I would get alone for that reason, right? Just the idea that you share that kind of, loss. And it is something I'll just tell you right now, Lane, I mean, I had a cat that passed away, but I wasn't, it just wasn't the same as what I've never had that household. I never grew up with that, so
I mean,
actually,
probably a little bit with Arwen now.
That's what I was saying. Right. Like that hit me harder than any other, animal I've ever had in my life. So
Tina was talking about coming home and not seeing her at the top of the stairs. And I was in that, that just transported me to us sitting here a year ago and hearing the tip tap of her nails on the floor and looking over. We'd always had that door open, remember?
Yes.
And she would just be laying in her bed and waited until we all were done to go upstairs. And
right.
So it's Wow.
Yeah. So she wraps up just by saying, thanks for reading. I'm working my way through the reread and the podcast. I'm a bit behind, but I know I'll catch up eventually. Thanks for doing the podcast. My love of all things Middle Earth drives some of my friends and loved ones crazy, but it
Join the club.
Yeah, my happy place. And it's a comfort to know that there are others out there just like me.
That's
so
awesome, Tina.
Tina
Yeah,
from New
thank
York.
you for that,
Yeah.
for
Tina
writing
Marie.
in. Yep. And, wow, yeah, I mean, that hits home. That's crazy. But it is a comfort to know, like she said, that there are other people out there who have had that same kind of loss. And really, like, a loved one is a loved one, whether it's a loved animal, a loved person, even times in your life. You know, there are times that you have that die in a sense. And, you know, we talk about people in our lives who they can't let go of a certain time, or they want to go back to a certain time. And you gotta, I don't know, it's hard to grieve and move on while still honoring that person or that animal or that time.
Yeah.
But the important thing is the good memories you've had that you can carry on with you, and that no one can ever take from you. And even if someday for some reason beyond your control you forget those, they're still a part of who you are.
Yep.
And a part of your story. So that's
Yeah,
beautiful.
they influence you.
Yeah.
Yep.
So thank you, Tina, and thank you for everyone who's like Ez said, we're still snowed under, guys. I mean, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
Thank you for everyone who sent in their Tolkien stories. I mean, I thought we would run out of
I know.
stories to read. I
There's
thought
no
we'd
way
be
we're
like
going to.
3 months in. We're like, well, guys, we really need begging people. We really need you to send it in. I mean, we'll never run out. And
Yeah.
that's because
And
you
that's
guys
great.
wanted to share. Yes,
That's great. And
awesome.
we'll do anywhere from 2 to 3, you know, upwards of 3, but like, you know, just depending on the day, what we have going on and stuff. But we just wanted to share that one and kind of let it be its own standalone thing.
Absolutely.
All right, my friend.
You took over Strawberries with Cream.
Hey guys,
For
you know,
today.
it's called a takeover.
So go
all right?
ahead. You go ahead and read it, man.
Yeah, I'll talk about
I'm
it
ready.
here. I think the one I want to go with, I had 2 questions there. I think that the one is when is the last time you sat down and just couldn't decide what to do?
Oh, geez.
The
Is this what it
last
feels like
time-
to be you?
Yeah, it is.
Sit here and be blown away.
I thought of something. You want to go first, like you typically do?
I got something real quick. It's
Okay.
not very deep or anything, but I mean, the last time Sarah and I sat down for Netflix.
Oh my gosh, that's a good one. Yeah,
And it's almost kind of the opposite of Frodo. You've got all these incredible decisions right in front of you, but it's almost too many good things. And you're like, okay, when he's only asleep for an hour and a half, how do I want to spend that time?
Yeah,
Because if you start something and it's kind of good, but then it turns out to be crap,
right.
that's time wasted, man.
Yeah,
When you become a parent, you're like, that time that you have just together becomes
Yeah.
very precious.
yeah,
Not that the time with Winnie isn't the most precious, but it's just
Yeah.
like, you know, it's like how it used to be.
Yeah,
It's the original band,
Yeah.
okay? And it's the original before the sequel kind of thing, and you want to make that time great.
yeah. I can see that. Yeah.
And so yeah, that's always kind of a challenge to decide what to watch. What do you got, bro?
No, that was good. That was actually really good. So mine, I guess I'd have to give back to. I'll have to shout out to one of my buddies here, Matt Brady. You know,
Yeah.
who one of the things when we were living in the condo.
The condo days.
The
You have a name for that
I don't know.
era?
I'm going to call them the condo days. That's what I'll call them. I have the Newark house. I've got the Dublin apartment, and I've got the condo days. You know, but we would take off sometimes, and this is just a reoccurring thing that always happened to me. He'd be like, dude, you want to grab something to eat, man? Just, you know, real quick, grab something to eat on the go.
Oh, I see where this is going. Yeah.
We would literally drive up and down 23 for probably 50 minutes
Oh my
to an
gosh.
hour trying to figure out what we wanted.
Would you guys get hangry before the
No,
end?
it was just the buildup was insane.
Oh,
you know?
I
Like,
see. You guys wanted to be titillated.
I mean, it was nuts. And I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, but just pick something. And it's like, I don't know, dude. Like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah,
We
it's a real thing, man.
He'd always bring up the Gaffigan joke. You know, did I have Wendy's twice today? Like, should I? Probably not. You know, it was just funny. It was just funny stuff.
Wendy's
so.
again?
I don't know. That's we set actually where I was low on gas the one time. What made me think I pulled into Half Price Bookstore and I just sat in the parking lot and I said, "We have to decide." And we just sat there for like 25 minutes
I'm low on gas.
thinking about where to go.
Oh gosh, dude, that's
So.
funny. That was a great one, man. Yeah, that is. Let us
fun
know
time.
if you want to go on Facebook and post
share
a
yours.
time that you can relate to that same situation. So
Yeah.
we got Share the Load. We're all over the place, right? As
Yeah, we're all over this. It's okay. Here it is. I'm gonna do a rundown here, if that's okay.
yeah,
just on Share the Load. So if you guys wouldn't mind, head over to patreon.com/UpTalking Tolkien. We got some good content there. Lane and I are recording more tonight for you guys.
Some free stuff, too.
Yeah, I got some free stuff coming up. Discord chats are being recorded now here on out, so we'll have that to kind of support folks in some of those upper-level tiers. I also, as a part of Share the Load, we've often talked, it doesn't have to be through Patreon or Kickstarter. It can just be liking the Facebook page. It can be help us out by writing a review on iTunes. That always helps the podcast.
Yep, big time.
Participating in the group, whatever it may be, welcoming somebody into the group, because we don't always have time to say, hey, welcome to the group,
Right.
Although, welcome, everyone.
Yeah, welcome.
So we've had some other people step up. We've talked about Jen Shepard taking over the newsletter and being the editor there, so that's fantastic.
Yes.
We may have someone else stepping up to help us with a website, possibly in the future.
Oh, yeah.
That's down the line. That's a ways. I don't want to say anything yet about that, but we're working on that kind of stuff. So we want you to know that we are working on things behind the scenes. We've talked about the studio, a website, maybe doing video episodes. So we're trying to make it just the best. We want it to be an awesome. You guys deserve the best. You guys are awesome, and that's been crazy. One thing I've talked about doing is at some point in the next couple of months, we always want to make the Patreon page better. So I have some updates that are coming to that just might be cool extra rewards, tidbits that I'm gonna organize with some folks who can help us. We may need at some point some more moderators with the Facebook page, and just kind of see how that goes. So. Oh, guys, the things that I wish we could talk about on the podcast that Lane writes in the doc, it's just fantastic. Anyways, so share the load, hop over there, help us out, help us with those stretch goals. If you guys can think of any stretch goals for the Kickstarter project, please hit us up about those. Again, we're trying to get to as much as we can there, just so we can. That's again 4,500 is what it's going to take to build the studio and kind of get it all, and that doesn't even include the furniture and stuff. Right. So
we've thought of some interesting ways to
to do that. But
if you want to send anything our way in the actual post, whether it be art, letter, anything, maybe your Bywater post, you want us to read your actual physical letter itself, send it to the Shire, P.O. Box 96, Amanda, Ohio 43102. It is really cool pulling up to the post office because we don't get mail delivered here in the Shire. You got to go get it from a P.O. box, and either having the receipt that you've got a package waiting for you, or opening the locker and seeing the Shire, and a lot of you have even put your region in the return address. I think Sherston had the Misty Mountains. I think someone put the West Farthing. Maybe it was Susie Millhouse put the West Farthing at one point. So it's just cool how you guys are naming your own region of the world, and it's pretty cool to see that. So time for weekly well wishes, formerly fortnight farewells.
Yeah.
We want to thank you for sitting down and making a pretty hard decision with us. Next week we'll be cooking up something special as we dig into chapter 4. See what I did there? Of herbs and stewed rabbit. We will also have a special guest next week.
Yeah.
Which is going to be really, really cool. Who will be
very
joining
special.
us. Very
That's
special.
all we're going to say.
Yep. And she or he, I don't know, will be joining us for the reread portion of the episode. So something to look forward to that we're really excited about.
Yeah, absolutely. If you like our podcast, don't forget to subscribe, like us, write a review, leave a comment, or send us a Shadowfax.
We'll see you in a Hobbit fortnight, and remember, Frodo lives.